Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing my spring TBR. I am very excited to be sharing this. So I have a collection here of a ton of mysteries as per usual, a bit of historical fiction, some classics, and a non-fiction or two. So let's go ahead and hop into this. If you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy Murray. I do tons of book content, especially within the mystery genre on my channel. So if you like that, definitely hit subscribe and let's hop into our first springy read. Alright, our first springy read is one that I recently bought myself for my birthday. I'm very excited about this because it's from a very beloved cozy mystery series for me, and that's from the Bad Hair Day mystery series. This is the Easter Hare Hunt. So I've read almost all the books in the series, but my library stopped picking them up after a certain point, starting with the Easter Hare Hunt, and what could be more springy than an Easter book? I mean, this is adorable. So our main character in the Bad Hair Day mystery series is Marla. She is a hairstylist living in Florida. She's a very spunky, feisty character. I really enjoy her personality and like just reading about her adventures throughout the books. This particular one takes place where she is going to an Easter egg hunt to fix up a client's hair, and it's at this manor and everything, and it's like this beautiful estate with all these like beautiful, grass and everything. The eggs are hidden, and she's trying to find her client when she stumbles across a dead body in an Easter bunny costume. So that kickstarts the mystery off, and she works with her husband, who is a detective, and they are like a duo trying to solve the mystery. And I'm really excited for this. I think this is such a darling cover. I haven't read a new Bad Hair Day mystery series in such a long time, so I'm so excited to reconnect with the series. And yeah, it's perfect. I'm gonna try to read this before Easter, or like as Easter hits, just because of the holiday theme, and I think this will be a good way to kick off the TBR. Now, if you follow my channel, I recently did a huge used bookstore like mystery haul, and I'll link that above if you want to check it out. But a lot of you had specifically noted that this was one of your favorites from the used bookstore haul and said that I should definitely read it first, and it is kind of like a springy themed cozy mystery series, and that is Murder, She Barked. And I don't know if this, it looks like it takes place during spring based on the floral, the different flowers and things here, but the reason I'm picking this is because it features a cat and a dog, and I feel like, cats, dogs, you think like newborns, baby chicks, little animals and stuff for spring are some of the things I think of. So anything with like animals at the center like this kind of makes me think of spring. So our main character in this is named Holly, and she basically is not at a great point in her life. She has recently had a big breakup. Her boyfriend's flame is like sniffing around her. She's got a Jack Russell who's leaving crumbs all over her car, and she's recently lost her job. And then the worst happens. She gets a call saying her grandmother is sick and needs her. So she hightails it back to the Sugar Maple Inn in Wagtail, Virginia, love the name there, which is where her grandmother I think owns the place and works. So she starts to work at the inn, which is like a big pet friendly inn where a lot of tourists come in with their pets, which I love, and I think this will just be really fun. Basically, one of the employees at the inn is killed in a hit and run accident, but the more people start to look at it, the less of an accident it actually looks like. So Holly starts to unravel the murder and to see what happened to the poor employee, and this just looks like it takes place during the spring. Like I said, little animals. I think this will be perfect. Another one that I couldn't resist for spring is called Tilling the Truth, a Garden Squad mystery by Julia Henry. This murder is hand-picked. So this does take place, it says, in August, but again, it is a garden-themed cozy mystery, so I feel like, if it takes place in the summer, it's garden-themed, close enough for me. Basically, our main character in this, her name is Lily, and she is working on this beautification project with gardening with her friend Tamara, and everything's going okay until Tamara finds a body, and she's found with the body standing over it holding the murder weapon. So this looks really bad for Lily's friend, and she starts to dig into the mystery to try to solve it and to try to clear her friend Tamara's name. So this one looks really cute. It sounds like it takes place in Goosebush, Massachusetts, and Lily is a go-getter retiree, and she works with her youthful senior pals during the lazy days of summer on the Garden Squad. So this sounds really fun. I do love a senior sleuth. I feel like they just have so much wit and wisdom, and they don't put up with anything they don't take anything lying down. They will give you a piece of your mind, usually is how a lot of these characters seem to be, and I love that. So very excited for this. Perfect cozy for the springtime. A classic that I'm really excited to finally get to. This has been on my physical TBR cart for at least a year or so, probably longer. It's one of the older books on there, so I really want to tackle it, and I feel like it feels like a springish read to me, and that is Emma by Jane Austen. So I know that everyone on BookTube seems to be obsessed with Pride and Prejudice, and I read it in high school and I don't remember really caring for it, if I'm being honest. However, my reading tastes have, evolved and changed over time, so I wanted to give Jane Austen another try, and I've heard that Emma is also very good, so I thought this might be a good one to add to this TBR to encourage myself to get to it. So I don't know much about what this is about. I know that Emma's supposed to be a very unlikable character, but that Jane Austen pulls this off in such a way that's really enjoyable. The back says it's the happiest of love stories, the most fiendishly difficult of detective stories, and a matchless collection of English wit. It sounds like there's a lot of power games with people's emotions, and that Emma's a very kind of selfish, egotistical character, and this is kind of a commentary on that. So that sounds really interesting to me. It is a pretty dense book. It is over 400 pages, and as you can tell, it's a very small font size, so this will definitely take a nice slow burn reading through, but I'm excited for this. I'm excited to give Jane Austen another try, see if I like it. Let me know if you are a Jane Austen fan. Do you love Pride and Prejudice like so many people seem to, or is it just me who wasn't the biggest fan the first time I read it? Maybe I need to read it again. Let me know. Alright, so this next one I'm very excited. This is a historical fiction mystery. It is a cozier mystery. It's not as humorous as some of the ones I've shown before during this TBR, but it is cozy in the sense that the violence and stuff takes place off screen for the most part. And that is Crazy Maids in a Row. This is book 3 of the Spokane Clock Tower mystery series. It's written by Patricia Meredith. I have read the first 2 books in the series, and this is the latest release in the series. This book does take place in very early June, so I felt like this was a good time of year to dive into it. I didn't know when this book series was going to end. I just knew this was the latest release, so I was kind of putting off reading it because I didn't want it to be the last book in the series because I've so enjoyed book 1 and 2. But this one sounds really interesting. Basically, in this, I don't want to read the back too much because it could possibly give you a slight hint about some of the previous books if you haven't read it. But basically, this book series takes place in Spokane, Washington. It takes place in, I believe it's 1901. Yeah, 1901. And this one follows multiple characters around from different points of views. So we have Marion, who's a very feisty young lady. We have the Carew brothers, one who's a detective, one who's on the police force, so they're kind of butting heads. They have a really fun brotherly relationship, a little bit of a rivalry at times, which I really like. You have Archie, who's a clockmaker, so you get to kind of read about a lot about the details of clockmaking, which I have never thought about in my life before reading this series, but it's very interesting. And all I can say is I don't want to get too much into this because this is definitely a serial series. You want to read it in order, otherwise you'll be very confused. But based on the first 2 books, I'm very excited to get into this. It definitely has some, I'd say kind of Agatha Christie vibes in terms of the writing. There's a lot of layers to the mystery. There's a lot of intrigue. I love it. I really, really recommend this series. Alright, next is one that I've just barely started. I also got this in my used book haul, and this is the Miss Marple Complete Short Stories collection. It's, of course, by Agatha Christie. Now, I have been trying to get into short story reading consistently because I'm really bad about it, but I do enjoy them when I read them. So this year I made it a goal for myself, and I have other short story collections that I've had for much longer. However, this one I recently got. I'm really familiar with Miss Marple, and it's only 365 pages or something like that, so I thought if I could get myself in the habit with a shorter short story collection with a character I'm already very comfortable with that I really enjoy, this could be the way that I get a good consistent reading habit in with short stories. So that is my strategy. So far I have read 3, and I've read 1 each night for the last couple nights, and it's been working really well. So I'm excited for this. My goal is to finish this. I feel like Miss Marple stories, a lot of them do take place with kind of springy elements to it, where there's a lot of, the gardens, or Miss Marple watching people as she's in her garden, and I always love that visual. And this, honestly, just the color of this reminds me of spring because it's so vivid, a beautiful mint. So that will be my short story goal for the TBR. This next one, I have no idea what time of year this takes place. I don't think it has anything springy, but it's just one that I really want to get to because I feel like everyone's talking about it and I haven't read it. And that is Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano. And this is just one that everyone on booktube seems to really love. It is supposed to be a cozy mystery, although I guess there's been a little debate, so maybe it kind of pushes the coziness a little bit. But basically our main character, Finlay Donovan, is a writer. She writes like thrillers or suspense novels, and she's at lunch, like out to lunch with her agent, and she's describing like a contract killer that's in her plot, but someone overhears her and actually thinks that she is a contract killer, and they hire Finlay to kill and take out like their husband. I think that is just such a cool premise. I'm really excited for this. I did get this at my library book sale, so the book is definitely, it's seen better days, but you know what, for like $1.50, I'm ready for that. And I love the little blurb on here. It says, most moms are ready to kill someone by 8:30 a.m. on any given morning. I can see why. Moms have a lot on their plates. I greatly admire mothers. So this just sounds hilarious. It's supposed to be very fast-paced, witty, authentic, in depicting the frustrations and triumphs of motherhood, and it's the first in a brilliant new series. I know the third book has just come out, and it seems like they're mostly getting good reviews, the second and third one, so if I like this, hopefully it'll be a good series, and the pink, again, does kind of give me spring vibes as well. This next one is called Botched for Murder by J.C. Eaton. This is part of the Sophie Kimball mystery series, and this takes place in Arizona, so as you can see, you have like just this really springy, summery setup here with the cacti and everything, and Sophie is basically getting dragged into her mom's retirement community's like drama. Basically a bunch of the other ladies at the retirement community are kind of clashing heads with her mother because her mother isn't very good at this game that they all play together, and she's kind of dragging the team down and they're very upset about this. And so one day they're playing this game with the ball, and Sophie's mother like hits the ball or something, and it actually ends up knocking into a body, and at first she thinks that she killed the person who's dead, but they look closer and they actually realize that there is an arrow, just kind of like this book here, that is sticking out of the body's neck. So the person was murdered. Sophie gets involved with the murder, and this just looks like, again, I'm not entirely sure what time of year this takes place in, but it just looks like a good spring or summer environment here, and I thought this would be a good fitting one. Also the puppy, look how cute is that puppy. Next one we have a Shake Shop mystery series. Now this technically takes place in early fall, but I feel like anything to do with ice cream or shakes is very like summer, spring to me in my brain. So this is by Dana Mentink. This is the second book in the series. This is a relatively new series. I read book 1 last year and I really enjoyed it. And basically we have our main character Trinidad, and she lives in Upper Sprocket, Oregon, and it's Alpenfest time. There's a lot of tourists and yodelers who are like flocking to the town. Everything's going okay until her grandfather, who is recently taken up like driving people around in his car as like a taxi service, finds a dead body in his trunk. I don't even know what I would like. I would scream. I would scream so loud if I opened my trunk and there was a body there. Like I would lose it. But her grandfather, obviously concerned, gets a hold of Trinidad, and the two of them start to look into the mystery, trying to figure out who this person is, how they ended up in her grandfather's trunk. Like, I have questions already, and this mystery seemed like sounds like a really fun plot to me. And I really enjoyed the first book in this series. I thought the characters were very well like fleshed out. I thought they were interesting. I could really feel like I understood their motivations and their characteristics. It was very well written, I thought, so I'm excited to see if book 2 holds strong and just keeps the series going off in a really positive direction like this. And we have 2 more, guys. Next we have a MC Beaton mystery series. Now a lot of you from my used book haul told me, because I picked up a few of these books for that, and this is part of the Hamish Macbeth mystery series, so I picked up 3 from that series, and the other 2 took place during like winter, like they had snow and everything on the cover. So this one I picked out because it appeared to take place during like spring, because there's a lot of like greenery in the background. And this is the 14th book in the series. It is Death of a Dentist, and Hamish Macbeth is like a small town detective, and basically he shows up at the dentist in town to have like some teeth looked at, and he's kind of nervous because this dentist is said to be kind of a very denture happy. Like he likes to pull teeth and then replace them with dentures instead of kind of caring for the teeth that are there, and Hamish doesn't want any of his teeth pulled. Well, he shows up, he's kind of nervous, and then he actually finds the dentist dead. So this starts an entire investigation. I'm really excited. I haven't read anything by this author. This author also writes Agatha Raisin, which a lot of you were raving about, so if I end up enjoying this, I'm excited because I have 2 more from the used book haul, and I also want to check out the Agatha Raisin books. So This sounds really good. It does take place in Scotland, and I've been really enjoying a couple different Scottish mystery series recently, so I'm hoping this will just be another one. Maybe there's something to be said about Scottish mysteries. Maybe it's just like the ideal place for a murder mystery. I don't know. And then last but not least, I have a nonfiction that I bought for myself a while ago. I've read the other ones by this author, but I haven't got to this one, and I thought this would be a good one. This is Happier at Home by Gretchen Rubin. It's got kind of springy vibes with the bird homes and just the bird here in general. Basically, Gretchen Rubin is like a kind of productivity, self-help writer. She kind of combines like memoir style writing with like science and psychology. She's written The Four Tendencies, which is a book I strongly recommend. It talks about 4 different kind of ways that people are categorized into different ways that they're motivated, either by external or internal factors or a combination of the two. And it's so insightful. I found it to be very helpful myself for how I kind of look at things and how I can use my particular type to motivate myself better. And she also writes these really great books about like improving your life, and she kind of follows herself as she does these experiments. And like she'll kind of theme in this particular one, she's using a school year, and she's basically trying to improve happiness at home. So she's taking on different challenges in science that says like, you know, this is a good way to improve it, but she's testing it herself. She's doing the research. She really puts a lot of thought into these, and I really enjoy it. It's a very enjoyable reading because of the memoir style reading, but then you have like the science and the psychology to back it up. She'll interview experts and stuff for it, and I'm really excited for this. So basically, she is answering questions like, how can she control the cubicle in her pocket, aka her phone? How might she spotlight her family's treasured possessions? How does she, like, you know, make things simpler but more comforting and happy at home? All these things just to really make her home her treasure. I thought this sounded like a really good one for spring, and just to really reinvest into the home and, you know, spring cleaning and all that, and just colorful vibes and the bird homes on here made me think of spring. So that is it for my spring TBR, guys. I feel like I've been talking a very long time. Please let me know down below, what are you planning on reading this spring? Do you have any spring themed cozy mysteries that you're excited for, or other spring themed books? I'd love to hear what you're reading down below. Thank you again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I do post new book videos every single week on this channel, especially within the mystery genre, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!